me ask you, what made you go from working in Next Computer to developing something like this? Like from Silicon Valley, because you went from Next Computer in Silicon Valley, working directly with Steve Jobs, doing chip design for that machine, and now you're working on this. What made you make that transition?
So I never know what I'm going to do. I always do the crazy thing. So first of all, my parents were both doctors in the UK. I went to medical school. I'm exactly the same age as Steve. He was like 6 weeks older than me. And we both did our acid trip at the right time. So for me, that meant, okay, I'm not getting into the medical profession. But medical school taught me that preventive care was really vital. And I've just always been following that. Started yoga, became vegetarian, vegan, da-da-da-da-da.
Steve Jobs is vegan too, though. What happened to him in his early, it was pancreatic cancer?
Pancreatic, and that's actually apparently quite common with fruitarians. So at one stage, he was fruitarian for a year. But the next thing that went was his liver, which is the seed.
Was it more because of his frequent bouts of rage, or?
I think so. But you know, he's also a very loving and kind man, very generous. He felt passionate about what he was doing. You know, that he was actually transforming our lives.
Give me a good Steve Jobs story.
Wow, there are so many. Actually, one personal one that I love is Reed, his son. Steve, I lived on Cowper Street in Palo Alto, and Steve lived a few streets further down. And I just moved over from the UK. I was the only one actually that next hired from outside North America. So he would come by our house, and my daughter, who's like 3 years old, she'd say, "Hello, Steve," and he loved it because, you know, he liked the English accent. But the funniest thing was that Steve's strollers were in Porsche black, and Steve bought up every black Porsche in the Bay Area, and he used to park them across the handicap. He'd say, "I'm Steve, you know, screw you, I'm parking here." You could always tell when he was there.
Really?
Yeah.
So, would you say you worked as hard on this product as you did working on a lot of the computer projects and the chip design?
I played very hard making this. Honestly, my stuff nowadays is a download. I don't do any analysis, any research. It was in my Qigong practice, I was told to connect. I was working on an infrared headband for the light for upregulating mitochondria. It just didn't feel right. It wasn't, so how do I do this mechanically, blah, blah, blah. And I was pointing to the east in my Qigong, and I remember distinctly, I saw this coil of wire I had. I was told, go and put it together. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe like a Tesla coil, it's a long piece of wire. So it was an air coil. I went to connect it up, and just like you felt, I could feel the chi. And when I was at Cisco, I'd already started teaching Reiki. That was in about 95.
How did that go over?
Not very well, but I used to have crystals in my cube, and people would come and just lie in my cube because they could feel the calmness. But the funniest thing was, when I first started feeling energy and doing Reiki, I blew out my computer 3 times. I had to rebuild it, and I used to be driving home, street light out, street light out, street light out.